Hello everyone, this is Victoria from Mindful Bamboo, and today I'm doing a reading for the new moon in Taurus that is fast approaching. The peak of it is falling for April 27th, about 3 p.m. New York time, Eastern Standard Time, and of course you can adjust the timing based on where you're located in the world. This new moon is asking us, is questioning what are our intentions and what steps are we willing to take to improve our practical aspect of our life, our actual surrounding, our relationship with money, right? And what we do for a living as well, right? Like, what do we want to create in those spaces? What do we want to create in our living space too? Because for Taurus, it's very important. What is that surrounding? What does the environment look like? Whether it's living space or it's professional space or something different where you spend your time, right? How do you elevate the quality of your lifestyle? Or how do you improve your abundance in life? So today we're going to see, just as usual, I'm going to pull 3 oracle cards. I've got the Ancestors and Angels deck with me today. I'll pull 3 cards with the themes of this new moon in Taurus that we are all supposed to know. So this intro will be for everyone. And then we're going to go into tarot and we'll get guided messages for each individual zodiac sign. And of course, we'll start with Taurus. So my readings are usually for sun, moon, and rising. But I would recommend, since this is about a lunar event, to prioritize watching the message for your moon sign. And it's easy to find out online. You just need your day and time of birth for that. For the moon sign, the time of birth is pretty important. And there will be timestamps for that as well, for each zodiac sign message, so you can quickly navigate in between. Best practice that I recommend is to watch messages for each of your main placements, sun, moon, and rising, and that will give you a more well-rounded picture for yourself. And as always, you can contact me for a personal reading for your specific situation. All right, so let's get started. See what we have for the collective, for everyone. What do we need to know? Remember that new moons are times when we set intentions. That means that we have a vision, we have our goals, but then we're going next level and we're actually brainstorming the steps that we find necessary to get closer to our goal. So the intention is when you're specifically planning to take specific actions, right? You're not just like daydreaming, right? It's not like blowing a candle on your cake, on your birthday cake, and you make a wish. No, this is like I want to improve my health, and intention would be, tomorrow I'm gonna, quit smoking or drink less caffeine, or I'm gonna start taking daily walks, etc., etc. That would be an intention, where the goal is to improve your health. That's an example for you guys. With all that said, let's do this. And of course, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you're new. I appreciate all of your attention. It helps me circulate messages with people who need to hear them. So the first theme is elder, healing through the lineage. Yeah, and actually one of the themes of Taurus is actually partnerships, relationships. It's not necessarily a romantic relationship, but it's the kind of baseline, how do you relate to another human being? Where Aries was the me, myself, and I, Taurus is now, it's like number 2, right? It's like, okay, how do I partner with other people? How do we find alignment? How do we coexist and co-create, right? And a lot of times it is actually connected with our lineage. I guess I can pretty much say always is connected to our lineage, where we come from, what kind of ancestral karma we inherited from our ancestors, and of course the relationships that we built, the relationships that we had when we were children. because that's when we were learning what does it look like, you know, what does good look like, and we took it in. So this new moon is allowing us to, I'm hearing, change the pattern, change the tune. You know, if there was some kind of belief in your family, like, I don't know, oh my god, what would I think? Like, you need to, I don't know, you need to be friends with your neighbors, or you are supposed to be to find like a personal rapport and connection with someone in authority around you, like your boss or somebody, and kind of like warm up to them in order to succeed in life. Whatever those beliefs were that maybe were not necessarily healthy or were not 100% in alignment, you know, with the higher vibrational energy. This is something that you can now unlock and change that story, see the truth. The second one is mountains. Stand your ground. Yeah, it's very important to, generally for manifestation and for intentions, for following through on your dream, on your goal, it's important not to veer off the path, you know. And I'm saying, yes, of course, stay flexible, watch for the signs, you know, maybe change of direction will be needed. But if you decide that this is what's important to me, this is why I'm doing it, this is what I'm doing, it's important that you stand your ground. And you could actually face some tests on your way from the universe where you're being checked of how badly you actually want it. Are you willing to overcome certain challenges that come your way? Because it's not just going to be handed to you on a golden platter, right? You need to work for it. It's like, how far are you willing to go with this? You know, what if other people start questioning your goals? Are you going to be ready to respond to them and stick with it? It may sometimes feel like you're at the bottom of the mountain, you know, because of those obstacles, those hurdles, or the amount of effort that it feels like you have to put into it. That, to me, it immediately reminds me of my retreat in Guatemala that I just came back from, where we were hiking and we're literally going up the mountain every day. Well, most of the days of our retreat, because that's where the retreat house was, right? And it's like when you're at the bottom of that path, quite steep path, it's like, oof, it's gonna be a lot, right? You're bracing yourself for this adventure, especially when you already know what it is. But it's even more frightening, I guess, when you don't know, because you don't know what to prepare for. Stand your ground, that's what's important. The last but not least is the she-wolf. Unleash the wild within. So this is about maybe even breaking your own rules sometimes, right? Showing your wild side, your passion, your drive. Why is it that you want to follow this path? Why is it so important to you? You know, this is where it's like your passion is actually very much intertwined with your creativity. This is that sacral chakra, you know, where you can really like find that flow, and it will help you get to where you want. It will help you find innovative solutions, and it will carry you through on those days when it seems extra hard and it feels like you are climbing the mountain on the way to your goals. Okay, without further ado, let's go into the zodiac messages. And our first message is going to be for Taurus. And remember, this is for Sun, Moon, and Rising. So we've got 8 of Swords, clarified by 6 of Wands, Queen of Wands. Okay, 8 of Swords was a bit of a rough start. I like that it has these beautiful cards to, I mean, they're all beautiful. It has these cards to clarify, and there's fire here, which is interesting, right? Because Taurus is very much an earth element, an earthly card. But it says that there's so much behind this. Like, you're basically determining your own boundaries and your own limitations, Taurus, right? Like, whichever story you're telling yourself, you're keeping yourself small and locked, right? Somehow you're not allowing yourself to go for bigger things, right? You're supposed to dream bigger. and really utilize your talents and your passion to go for the sky. Now look at that bird. To me, it's a special symbol also because it looks like a hummingbird. And this symbol has been in my reality a lot lately. So I'm taking it in as a message for myself. But it's also 6 of Wands, if anything. 6 of Wands, right? Yes. It's a card of victory. And yes, it looks interesting here. It's like finding that harmonious partnership, which is again very much Taurus energy, right? Maybe that will be the victory. So it may not be, it might not feel like that immediately, you know, when you're like, you found your ideal business partner or even romantic partner, right? Like what kind of victory we're talking about, right? But it is in its own right, and it will help you expand as a person, you know, for your emotional well-being and also whatever you want to achieve creatively and professionally. But you need to get out of that cage. You see, the cage is open, Taurus. It's about you just taking that cap off and flying out. Okay, so that was a message for Taurus. Now let's go to Gemini. Okay, we got 3 of Swords, 10 of Pentacles, and 7 of Swords. Wow. Oof. So definitely, I feel like this is related a lot to the healing through lineage. There is some kind of story that is keeping you away from your success and abundance, Gemini. And it could be specifically with what your family have told you, whether it's your parents or maybe even somebody from ex-partners. Why not? Right? Something about you that you remembered. Like maybe it was said in vain, I'm hearing, or, you know, in a moment of weakness, but you really took it in like a truth, you know, something about you that's like, I don't know, what would be examples? Like, you know, you're always losing your patience and like not getting to the results, right? Or, you know, you'll never be successful in this area, in this domain, because you don't have aptitude for it. Or, I don't know, you'll never be a fashion model because you're not tall enough, or whatever it is. I'm just giving you some ideas, right? But whatever it was, it broke your heart. Yes, it's a broken heart card. But also it's stopping you now from going for what you want. But what I'm here to tell you is that wasn't the truth, and you shouldn't linger on it. So build your dream, and whatever you feel like, but I don't think I'll ever be able to do that, think around it. Approach it with a can-do attitude. Do your research online, right? Today we have so much information available to us for free, including YouTube, by the way. See how you can work into that domain, that career, even if you're not tall enough or you don't have the right degree or whatever you think could be preventing you from going full speed. Maybe you want to move to a different country, but you feel like for someone like you, depending on whatever, your ethnicity, age, family situation, anything, that this would not be possible. Maybe you have a child from a previous marriage and that in your mind ties you to your current place of living, and you can't leave and go build your dream in the country where you want to build it. It's very specific. Maybe it is for someone, but there's always a workaround. Okay, that was Gemini. Now we'll go to Cancer. What does Cancer need to know during this new moon in Taurus? The Empress, I love it. That's the Taurus energy. Yeah, baby. And by the way, now I know why that topic of creativity and passion was getting in, because the Empress is usually displayed pregnant, and Empress is connected to Venus, and it is all about, you know, creativity and being able to birth, essentially, you know, to quite literally create something new and beautiful. Clarified by 2 of Swords and Ace of Swords. Wow. Yeah. So I feel like you've been considering this dream project, activity, maybe even extreme makeover for yourself, I don't know, for a while now. Whatever this dream, what this goal is, you've been considering it for a while. But there is, again, some kind of story that you've been telling yourself that this is just too outside of your comfort zone. And I feel for you, this is actually where you need to connect to the wild within. And it's something that you've been afraid to do yourself, for yourself, right? And then, of course, you know, once you unleash it, then you'll have to sort of explain yourself to others, and that gets too complicated. So like, I may as well not do it at all, right? But it's not a good solution, Cancer, right? And you may be protecting yourself, especially, you know, your sensitive side, where you could be, it might just get too what's the word, too tender for you, you know, and you're not sure if you can handle it, but you can handle it. You just need to look this situation in the eye and see what the truth is. What are you telling yourself? Why are you stopping yourself? You are in the Empress energy right now. You can create anything you want. You're omnipotent, including, by the way, quite literally, you know, conceive a baby, give and then, you know, carry a baby. But it can also be, of course, a creative project, a passion project. It can be a new business that you create. And like I said, for some of you, maybe a new lifestyle, right? Whatever it is, it's all in your hands. But there is a difference. Like, see very closely where you're stopping yourself from going full speed. And also, I'm hearing for you, please don't necessarily copy what someone else is doing. Take it in as a kind of like, as a reference, you know, like this is a possibility. Okay, I'll take a note of that. But do what feels right and good for you in your situation. Do not just follow blindly what someone else is doing, or even if you have a teacher or mentor and they are telling you to do it, but it feels off to you, listen to your intuition, because nobody's gonna know better than you. Okay, next we go to Leo. What does Leo need to know during this new moon in Taurus? Eight of Cups, Lovers, and Ten of Wands. Wow, there's something that you're leaving behind, Leo. Some kind of habit. Taurus is not exactly about habit, but it could be, you know, like habits basically build our life eventually, right? Like one habit may be just like a fraction of our life, but if you think about it, like a group of habits basically is what our life is, whether we like to admit it or not. A lot of our life is a kind of on semi-pilot, right? Our brain likes to optimize and simplify as much as possible and automate, you know? So it doesn't have to be something dramatic like, I don't know, some kind of addiction, but it is an old habit that is outdated now. And this could be something that, you know, is good to handle during Taurus time. Maybe it's part of that healing through lineage even. Maybe it's something that, you know, your family has been doing for forever, and this is how you know things to be, right? And Taurus tends to kind of like stay with what's familiar, or like just follow the habit, just follow the known, right? It's not easy to break out of it. Like you need to put in a lot of conscious energy and focus to assess the situation and say, you know what, this is no longer working for me. Maybe it did 10 years ago when I was in a different place in life, but now I need new habits, right? The old ones become a burden now, or they keep me behind. You know, like if a person has all this stuff on them, it slows them down a lot. It can't move as quickly as other people can. And there's something beautiful here on the horizon with the Lovers here. Maybe it is an actual new potential partner, life partner. But you could also be rediscovering love for life and self-love as well. And remember, if you're looking to meet someone, this is like the key, this is the secret sauce to find that love before you meet the person, you know? So you're not in the needy energy. You're not looking for someone to help you close the void, you know, or fill your cup. You're supposed to fill your cup first. That's very, very important. It's very favorable energy for that. So depending on what your situation is, if you're already with the person, then this is the time that I'm hearing. This is the time where you can find deeper connection with that person and with yourself. But do not abandon the part about connecting to yourself, Leo. Okay, next we'll go to Virgo. What does Virgo need to know during this new moon in Taurus? Two of Wands, Justice, Eight of Pentacles. Wow, very dreamy. That's what I see here immediately. Even Eight of Pentacles looks like art, right? It's a working card, and this would be so much Virgo energy. Putting in the effort day in, day out. This is Virgo, full on. But even in this situation with this card, you're asked to look at it more creatively and have some fun with it, right? And this is a different spin on what your routine has been, what you've been doing, right? This is finding balance, but not because it's part of the routine and this is just what you're supposed to do, but because it's part of a bigger dream. And you're asked to dream bigger right now, Virgo, right? See what that ideal lifestyle would look like. Not just making the best of the situation at hand and what you have, the resources that you have available to you. There's nothing wrong with it, but there is a time when you outgrow your current situation and you need to go further, you know, to spread your wings and fly there. And that will be justice. That will serve justice to all the work you've put in, or, you know, all the karmic lessons that you've learned in the recent past. You're ready for it. Okay. Next we go to Libra. What does Libra need to know during this new moon in Taurus? All right. Six of Swords, Eight of Wands, another eight. Look at all the eights. Oh my God. And Lovers. Again. Yeah, so I see that finding your inner peace has been long overdue, Libra. It's like you've been out and about, caring about, you know, your loved ones and closing out all kinds of responsibilities. Taking care of business, doing some kind of hustle, right? But now it's time for you to get to maybe to even create space and time for yourself, i.e. take a day off from work, you know, maybe you go on a hike by yourself or maybe with a close friend, but get out of your kind of usual routine and usual hustle, right? Find that time for peace and for connection with yourself and with your higher power, whatever that is for you. It's really important now. Inner peace is your mantra during this new moon. And that's where you will get clarity on what is it that you want and how you want to move there. At least the first couple of steps. And look at that, you have Lovers. I'm hearing this is a confirmation, or this is a reminder actually for you of how much your higher power loves you, right? How much the universe loves you and wants to support you. Your guides, your ancestors want to support you with what you're doing. So even if you feel alone in the physical space, know that you're never alone. And if one of your dreams and desires is to find that someone who could be your companion in this life, whether it's a friend or a romantic partner, then this person is coming around. If anything, they're waiting for you to find your peace so that you can recognize each other. Beautiful. I loved it. Okay, that was Libra. Now we'll go to Scorpio. What does Scorpio need to know during this new moon in Taurus. Scorpio is the opposite sign of Taurus, so it's very interesting what we're gonna see here. Woo. 6 of Wands, Death, which is Scorpio card, and 10 of Wands. Okay, very interesting. Oof. So something is coming to closure for you, Scorpio, and yeah, I know it sounds a little cheesy since Death is your card in general, right? But also, like, look at the artwork in this card. I love this rib cage. To me, it shows vulnerability. It's like you are recognizing something, you're learning something about yourself, something important that helps you put something unhealthy or unworthy behind, you know, something that has become a burden, that is now just an automated habit or a skill that you have and you don't want to lose it. It could even be a job that you're great at and you've put in a lot of work into it. And you're like, well, it makes sense, right, for me to keep going, right? Or it's an easy way for me to make a living, or whatever the story is. But, you know, this is time to realize that this is, in that example especially, that this is not what you want to be doing in life. You're not enjoying it fully. There's nowhere to go from there. You know, maybe that's the thing. You've reached your peak and this is just now not fulfilling, right? So don't be surprised if something will actually close out before you feel ready for it, or it's not really going to be your choice because this is a major arcana. You know, something may just close and you won't have a say in it, but it is done for your highest good, because we also have 6 of Wands here. I mean, everything that the universe is bringing your way is for your highest good, even if you don't see it in the moment. But what I'm saying is that there is definitely, you know, happily ever after on the other side. 6 of Wands is generally a victory card, you know, a celebration card. But I love that in this deck, it's also a card of harmonious partnership, right? It's almost like a mixture, blend of 6 of Wands and 6 of Pentacles energy here, with this hummingbird and a girl. You know, the hummingbird is carrying a girl to wherever she needs to go. And the girl is given this flower nectar to the hummingbird. So it's a symbiosis, you know, so there's a good chance that you'll actually find some kind of unexpected partnership that will bring you a lot of happiness and will actually support you in practical ways, right? Or if you're feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, then it's time to ask for that partnership. It's time to ask for help. At least you can always ask your guides or high power for help, all right? Okay, moving on to Sagittarius. Saggy. What does Saggy need to know during this new moon in Taurus? Ace of Pentacles, Star, and Queen of Pentacles. Wonderful. Love this Pentacles energy. This is Taurus, 100%. Plus the Star. So again, we're back to healing. Healing through the lineage. Think about the patterns and stories that your family has around money, around success. It can be literally about money, things like you need to work hard to earn money, or you can't be rich without, you know, in an honest way. You know, you can only get there by deceiving someone or committing crimes or whatever, through corruption. You know, whatever, that could be like directly about money, or it could be around success, like getting a certain position in life, or moving up the social class ladder, or moving to a different country and building a new life for yourself, right? Whatever that practical, physical, you know, success looks like, see if there is anything that's preventing you from making a start on it, because you're supposed to go there. It's time. This is what this is saying. It's time for you to go for that dream, for whatever that success looks like to you. Whether it's a new business, a new life, I don't know, creating a new level of income for yourself, right? Maybe rearranging your finances somehow, your resources in general. And by the way, Pentacles could also be around time and energy, right? So it could also be about prioritizing something in your life, or seeing how you know, it's about time management essentially, and how you can make it more efficient towards what you want to be doing and waste less, right? But there's definitely something here with the stories that you're used to be telling yourself, most likely because those stories have been told and retold in your family, and you just accept them now as a given. It becomes a conviction with time, you know, an axiomatic statement that doesn't need proof. But this is for you now to challenge and to question. Find your own truth, Sagittarius. Okay, let's go to Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to know during this new moon in Taurus? The Hanged Man, Six of Swords, Eight of Pentacles. Okay, some of these cards we've already seen today. The Hanged Man was the main card, so it's time to stop and reflect. And yes, again, I know this could be a message for any of the readings around spiritual path and finding yourself and all that. But you know, especially for earth signs, it can be tricky to just stop and watch and notice and observe and be curious and reflect. Are you still excited about the work that you're doing? Is there a creative variable there? What is the creative part? Or are you now just like following a certain routine that proved to be successful, and you're like, okay, I don't want to screw the success, you know, I don't want to mess with the formula, let's just keep going. But now you're actually asked to do something outside of your comfort zone, to bring in more creativity and to reignite that spark for yourself. And it doesn't mean that you need to leave kind of the space of comfort and joy. It's more like it's easier to be creative from a place of comfort and joy. And hopefully you are in that place, or you're supposed to find that place, that spot in your house, that place in nature. I don't know, that cafe was your favorite coffee and with a trusted friend. Whatever that looks like for you, where you can cozy up, you don't have to worry, you don't have to stress, you don't have to solve problems. You can just dream, you can reflect, and you can think of, you know, new things to bring into your life. Whether it's literally towards your work or anything else, any other area. Could be your health even. Could be priorities in how you spend your time. Could be even communication with your loved ones. All right, next we're gonna go to Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know? And then we have Pisces and Aries. Aquarius, you have Temperance, clarified by Six of Cups and the Sun. Wow. Wonderful. The Sun is the happiest card in the deck in tarot. So congratulations, Aquarius. But before you go off to celebrate and be happy and rejoice, I want to say that there is a process of integration happening right now for you, of things that you've learned in the last cycle, from the last new moon to this new moon. And also another cycle could be the last, between the full moon in Taurus that we had, which was 6 months ago, and now the new moon in Taurus. So you can also recap for yourself what happened to you in the last 6 months, right? That was like a true lunar cycle. And see what you've learned, you know, what kind of lessons can you integrate now? Because this is integration time. It's like when that knowledge is sinking in, and it helps you see a bigger picture of where you came from and where you want to go. And even in the Sun card, you see in this deck, the Sun card has that bird that is closing one of the eyes of this lady, right? So there is still something there where you're like, the sun is like shining too brightly for you, right? There is still something that scares you about like fully diving into the space of joy, happiness, and that healing power of the sun. If you're in the northern hemisphere, then of course we're going into summer season gradually, and we get a lot more of that sun. But not everybody can handle it. You can also see it as a spotlight right? See it that way. So there is something here that scares you, where you feel uncomfortable still. And it might be connected with your childhood, or with you not letting yourself sometimes to have fun and to play with the energy around you, with what the universe is providing to you. You're taking it too seriously. Aquarius is known for building strategies and looking for the global impact and meaning and all those wonderful things. But sometimes it's important just to experiment, just to have fun with it, see what happens, right? And you'll be surprised with the amount of impact that you'll actually be able to create as a result. Okay, that's for Aquarius. Pisces. What does Pisces need to know during this new moon in Taurus? The Emperor. 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Swords. Wow. You're finding your identity, Pisces. And for Pisces as a water sign and kind of like the last sign of the zodiacal wheel, it's like Pisces is very dreamy energy. It's very vast, it's expansive, so it could be difficult to kind of ground yourself down to specifics. And this is asking you to build specifics. We are in Taurus energy. The new moon is in Taurus energy, and Taurus likes specifics, practicality, you know, something tangible. And specifically for your message, you have 9 of Pentacles here, which is actually about your lifestyle, it could be about your looks, it could be about your health, it could be about your hobbies, but it is specific. It's not like, let's just fantasize about something. It's like, no, please look into your needs. Look into what you want to build right now, what you want to build. That's the big emphasis. The Emperor is me, myself, and I. I am the Emperor in my empire, right? And I get to make the rules. And I get to live the life that I want to live, unapologetically, right? So the cycle that's closing with this 10 of Swords is, like, look at this image. Like, 10 of Swords is usually a painful cycle. In this particular deck, I always see this as being too concerned of what other people are thinking or how this impacts other people, right? And it's important to step away from it. This card is the opposite energy, kind of, right? It's like, what does make me happy? What does make me blossom every day? Maybe those could be your journal prompts or the questions that you could ask yourself. How can I be blossoming more in my own right? And it doesn't even matter if you're a man or a woman, right? And you can contextualize it for yourself based on who you are and, you know, how you want to see yourself, how your identity is coming out to you yourself, you know, not what other people want to see from you, but what you want to see from you. And again, experiment, see what happens. You can always adjust. You can change your mind. You're allowed. You're an emperor in your empire. And speaking of emperors, we're now going to move to Aries, which is a representation of the emperor energy. Or the emperor, rather, is the representation of Aries energy. What does Aries need to know during this new moon in Taurus? The Hierophant. Okay. 8 of Cups. You're learning some new habits, Aries. And Knight of Wands. Okay. Yeah, so you're being presented with new school of knowledge. It could be a new religion. It could be a new hobby. It could be a new friend that suddenly starts talking to you about, I don't know, Buddhism or their culture that's very different from yours. It will be something very new to you, but it will help you expand your consciousness and symbolically at least walk away from having certain limiting beliefs of how life is supposed to be, how you're supposed to behave, what you're supposed to look like, to dress, you know, to eat, or generally to do, day in, day out, you know? So you're supposed to give way to that fiery energy within you where, look at this Knight of Wands. You're brave, you're unapologetic, you are wild to some degree. Think about that Unleash the Wild Within card that we saw. You're supposed to unleash the wild within, and this new perspective and knowledge that you're learning is helping you there, right? Because you're now seeing that specific part of your life that you're learning about. You're seeing it in a completely new light. And that what gives you more power there, where you can navigate it in the way that you want, where you can bring in new ingredients, where you can lay out maybe the same number of the same elements, but you can lay them out in a new pattern, and you'll receive a completely different result at the end. It's a general reading, so I can't go into too much details, but it looks like for you, Aries, you're definitely receiving new information. So if that presents it to yourself, whether it's a book or a friend talking to you about what they're into, or a program about something that you normally aren't interested in, but somehow it's calling for you now, go for it, watch it, listen to it, read it. There's something there that will help you change your life for the better in more ways that you can imagine. Okay, with all that said, I'm gonna close it here. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I love you all. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time,